Recording.
Hi everyone, this is Paula O'Sullivan here for another marketing conversation with my friend Judith Shuttleworth. How are you going, Judith?
I'm really well, thank you, Paula. How are you?
I'm good. I have to say I'm really excited about this conversation that we're going to have today because it's something that both you and I, we advise our clients, and we have been for many years, around how it is that you can build your online presence now and put good foundations now for the long term. Because what's really important is it's great to try. I know that a lot of startups and maybe solopreneurs and also probably businesses that have been impacted by COVID, there's a lot less marketing dollars available to put things together. And so if you've got businesses scrambling to get online, or if you've got people that are trying to bolt solutions together, it's not necessarily the wisest thing to do. You don't necessarily want to go the cheapest or the free route, because what can happen is it actually impacts your it can actually impact your results, not now but in 6 months' time when you're back on your feet. So what we want to have a talk about today is how to actually properly establish that and properly get yourself set up. And we're going to talk about what you need to reflect on and what you need to think about and what you need to start looking at, so that when you are ready to, maybe you've got some budget available to start investing in your marketing properly, you don't have to go and rebuild stuff. And so with that, I think the first place we should go to is, I like to call this the center of your ecosystem, because it really is. And it's you can borrow it, my friend. But it's your website. Now, Judith, this is your wheelhouse. So you're an expert in web building and web strategy and how to actually put websites together that deliver outcomes for clients. So if someone's out there, if there's a business out there that is kind of traditionally bricks and mortar, or they've been a face-to-face consultant like this, and they haven't really thought about a website, or they might have chucked up a free Wix or a free, whatever the other free stuff is out there, or they just might not have even thought about it at all. What's the first thing people need to do?
Right. So this is a great topic today. Yes, we're excited to talk about this. We love this. This is what we do. So probably to start off, let's just put it all into perspective. So whether you're online or not, I mean, I would have thought most businesses these days have got some kind of online presence. Now, you might just have social media. It's not enough. If you really want to get your business going professionally and properly, you need a website or at least a blog, depending on what you're doing. And depending what your business is. And you need a good one. So you don't own your social media profile. Social media can change or go at any time. So if you think you're going to get all your business, and that's enough, from your social media platforms, I'll tell you that's the biggest no-no. So the first thing you need a website, or you need a blog. And there's a few things that you need to look out for. So everybody needs that online presence. If you've got a small business, a medium business, or obviously a corporation, and basically the rules are pretty much the same no matter what you've got. That's the first impression people are going to get of you when they come. It's like, you need to give a good impression. So you need it to be built properly, and you need it to look good. And so we'll start at the beginning, what you should be looking out for, because there are a few do's and don'ts that I would give you some recommendations for. And the first one is, of course, you need to apply the 5-second rule, which is people will only stay for about 5 to 8 seconds. Why am I here? So what do you do? What's your business about? What's in it for me? So how can you help them? Is there, are you going to answer my problems when I've landed on your website? And what do I do next? Call to action. So if you can answer those three things when you're planning your website, they're the most important things to keep in mind. Your website, in actual fact, although you may not think so, it's not about you. It's about your audience. It's about your target market. It's about the people who are looking for your services or products. And so you're actually there answering whatever their problem is of what they've arrived on your website to find. And they need to be able to see pretty well straight away in the first few seconds that, yes, this is the place for me, this is the product I'm looking for, or the products, or these are the services I'm looking for, and okay, that all looks nice, and what do I do next? So number one, nice big call to action somewhere above the fold. And for those of you who don't know what the fold is, that's kind of before you have to start scrolling down. So the first top part of your site that you see when you land on the website. Design, is that important? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I would say, don't be afraid of white space. Less is more. Mm-hmm. People are overwhelmed online. How many websites, especially government websites, do you go onto that you think, I can't find my way around this? I don't know where to go. I don't even, the navigation, of course, and the functionality has to be great, but that's what I consider part of the design. But so, yes, less is more. Never be afraid of white space. White space is beautiful. It just lets the eye breathe. It lets you kind of find your way around when you're looking, and always simple and beautiful.
Is there a way that people should present? Because I really liked what you said about making it easy for the eye and make it very easy for people to understand what they can do straight away. Do you have any advice about how to present information so that it is easily digested?
Definitely. And really, writing for web, even if you think you're a good writer, you may not be for web, and it is very specialized. And if you can afford it, I would always say get a copywriter, because they know how to write for web so that it's nice and easy. Basically, when you're looking on a website, you skim, and you skim in a Z shape from left to right, down, and back across again, and you take in whatever's quick enough for you to see in that time. So headings, bullet points, images, anything that's going to show exactly, nice big call to action, but anything that I can take in quickly and easily. And that's why white space is nice, because it's restful for the eye. It's not like a lot of overwhelm. And I really dislike all those websites with things moving and flashing, and it's not nice. There's too much overwhelm online. I forget how many websites there are now on the internet, but millions, if not billions. So people are on and off websites all day. It needs to be nice and easy so they can actually see what they're looking for and find what they're looking for. And I definitely recommend getting a copywriter if people can afford it, because it's written with the audience in mind, isn't it?
Of course.
Written with the audience in mind. And also you'll find that a good copywriter will try and weave some kind of story into it, if that's possible. The balance between bullet points and headings is we still need content for SEO, which is search engine optimization. And that's how you get found on Google, and, how you'll move up through the search engines to hopefully, if, you can manage it, to get onto page one, which is everybody's objective. But depending how competitive your industry is, that can be a difficult task. But getting back to visual, images do matter. Images, people love images. They tell a story all on their own. And so getting good images for the website is important. And you'll find, over the years, websites have become a lot more visual. And
in terms of images, is there a particular are there particular rules or recommendations about the kinds of images people should use? Like what's more appealing to people, like to the average website user?
I think anything that is going to, invoke some emotion or tell a story through that image, uh, anything like that. And I think, obviously high quality, images, the best. I mean, they can just really make the difference with a website. So, obviously if you're doing food or you're in something like that, then you might want to go and get some professional shots done.
Yeah.
Because they do make a difference. And for something like that, I would be recommending getting your own images done of your own product rather than stock images. But you can get some really good stock images still these days. And so if that's all you've got available to you at the moment, start off with that. You can get photography done later, especially if that's a cost you can't afford at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely use some good stock images. It is better than nothing. So, and you can change those images these days in websites very easily.
So I guess kind of images is one thing, but what do you feel about, or what do you see based on your own experience with client websites? How effective or not effective is video?
Video is, people love video. If you've got video, definitely use video as well. And some people use beautiful videos in their banners as well, right at the top. And they're gorgeous. It's easy then for people to see what's going on, as long as it's not a long one. But, you can put videos through your site everywhere, or blog posts, or welcome video to your website. People want to see what's going on, and whether or not you're going to be in it, or whether you do some kind of presentation with your voice. You can do lovely presentations, on Canva that you can then record on Zoom. There's lots of different ways to do video, even if you don't want to appear in them. So, but in saying that, and I don't know what you think about this, Paula, but I think a touch of the personal of who those clients are going to be dealing with is also important. So on the about page, I love it if there's a photo of who you're going to be dealing with, whether it's a team or whether it's an individual. And I always look, if I'm looking for a service or something, I will always, maybe different if you're buying products, you might not want to have your image in there if it's just a technology side or something like that. But for anything that's got more of a personal touch, like with a service, I think people want to know who they're dealing with. And it's nice to weave your story into that, about how you started and a little bit about you and why you're there. And people will relate to that. Do you agree, Paula?
I think so, because really, you need to be able, because if you're someone who is, you're getting going, you're building your business, you're getting started online, or even if you've been in a business for a very long time and you're just starting out, the thing that you need to do really quickly is you need to establish trust. You need to get the like factor going. So if I like what I see, and it doesn't necessarily need, like, you don't need to be a glamorous supermodel. People just need to see you. People just need to see you, and it's about the person behind the brand. So I totally agree with you in that using the about page as a space to start building that relationship, I think, is a really undervalued thing for sure.
Yes, I think so, because then they can start reading a little bit about your story, why you're there, why you started your business, what your background is. And, hopefully they've already started relating to you when they look at that. And so that is a big part of the trust. Well, this person had the same problem as me, or this person started off by, studying this or doing this or whatever, and that's how they got here, and they'll like the story or not, and then use your services or not. But yeah, it is. I think it really is a way to start that connection.
For sure. And I think probably the last question for me around the topic of website, and look, this is one that causes lots of controversy amongst all sorts of digital marketers. Please share your views. on the dreaded pop-up?
Oh, the pop-up. I thought you were going to say SEO.
I think we'll talk SEO another time because, but
It is going to be my last one I finish on. You do need some SEO. I hate to tell
cool.
you,
yeah,
but at least if you've got a good web developer setting up your site, they will put an SEO plugin in or something and start fixing up all your metadata, which I know we're not going to go deep into that today, but it is so that when Google crawls it, they do know what your website's about and your website's set up properly for the search engines to find you. Okay, the dreaded pop-up. There's fors and against it, and I think as long as you can close it easily, it's fine. Some people hate it, some people like it. I think a lot of people do get reasonable results from it, especially if there's some kind of giveaway or lead magnet, which we've talked about before, that leads into your email marketing. And that might be the reason that the people have landed on your website anyway, to get that giveaway, which might be a white paper or an ebook or recipes or something like that. So if it is nice and easy for them to get it from that pop-up, that's fine. You might want to put another link though to whatever you're giving away below the fold. But as long as that pop-up can be closed easily. The ones that don't close, device. Can't find how to close them, they're really annoying.
Oh my goodness, the grumbles that are here, especially on especially on these.
Yes.
If you in today's day and age, everyone is carrying one of these. If you can't get your website working on this, then you need
to got to be responsive. That's another one. I mean, no matter who's building your website, it has to be responsive for all devices. All devices, and absolutely. So that's definitely a must. And I mean, we've just done a client site that was from 2012. I mean, very old, can't tell what the website's about, even from the name, even from the URL. They didn't want to change their website. It wasn't, at least we've made it responsive. But you look at something like that, if that's your website, everybody listen to me. If you want to be heard and you want to be taken seriously, you need a website that is from today, that looks like it belongs today, not with the dinosaurs, because people will just look at that website and disregard it. They go, this person's not going to know what they're talking about. Look how old the website is. It's so out of date. So you need a nice, modern, up-to-date look, and that means a nice visual website. And yes, it has to be responsive.
For sure.
So that's basically the basic of your online marketing strategy, and those are some of the things to look out for. Obviously there's lots of other things, like I've mentioned SEO, and we need website speed. It has to open quickly and things like that, but that's another whole conversation. You can get more information on my website about all that stuff if you're looking for it. But so next step, I guess, for people getting their online presence, especially today while businesses are down with COVID, is then, of course, looking at your marketing. And I'm going to hand that over to Paula because that's her area.
Can't you see this is why we work so well together? It's almost like the yin and the yang of digital marketing. There's something we can use. And it's really important.
We do the boring bit and you do the fun bit.
I'm kind of out there doing all the glamorous work. I mean, look at this mic. How's that not glamorous?
We do all the behind the scenes stuff.
Which is important. And this is the thing, is that you need to have a solid website, and there's all of these platforms where you can build something for free or for no cost, or that are kind of solutions that are almost cookie cutter. If you can avoid it, avoid them. Actually speak to someone who knows what they're doing, because if you build something now that you're going to have to rebuild in 6 months, it's going to put you behind. So just be really careful about that. All right, so now let's move on.
Really shitty. I'm sorry to use that word, but if it looks shitty, then who is going to want to do business with you?
Yeah. So now that we've talked about building your house, or your online house, or your online shop, or your online store, We need to actually let people know that it's there. And so, unlike a certain Kevin Costner 1980s movie, if you build it, people aren't necessarily going to come. So, I'm bringing out the gold today, Judith. And so, what you have to do is you have to let people know that you're there. People, like, to actually build the trust factor, you need to let people know you're there. To have people walk into your virtual store, you need to let them know that you're there and that you're open for business.
The best store in the world, the best products, the best services, but if nobody knows, then there's no point.
Then that's it. And even though we have all of these things going on in the world, people need to buy stuff. Not only do people need to buy stuff, people want to buy stuff. So it's not just about kind of groceries and toilet paper and everything else that we want to talk about. There's whole sort of industries and markets that are opening up because of the opportunities that people are seeing. So, local cafes going from in cafe, like on premises serving, to doing takeaways and online orders. So the opportunities are there. The first thing I would say is don't be afraid of telling people you exist, and don't be afraid of telling people how you can serve them. That's the very first thing I would say. So really, this can be a bit of a mindset thing, and Judith and I were having this exact conversation yesterday. There are so many conversations and things happening at the moment where people are afraid to do marketing. I'm like, but why? People need your stuff. People need to know you exist. Like, just because you might be a marketer or a web developer or an accountant or a finance, whatever it happens to be, people still need you. People still need what you have to give. Even though budgets might be down or people may not be spending as much on those things, that's okay, because we'll get to the other side of this, of whatever this is, and those and there'll be opportunities again. So don't be afraid to market yourself. Just don't be an idiot. Would be my first piece of advice. Don't be silly when you're doing it. So you need to drive traffic to your website. So your website's your home. It's the most important place. It's where you're going to tell people who you are. It's where you're going to either transact through an e-commerce site, or you're going to give people an insight into what you do and how you help. So it's where and we've spoken about value so many times, so I'm not going to rehash that conversation. But in terms of the social media piece, I like using social platforms, because it's free to sign up. So you can sign up for an account, or you can set up a page for free, but you just need to know what to do with it, which is the really important thing. So firstly, identify who it is that you're actually wanting to talk to. So it comes to an audience question. So if you're a B2B business, so Judith services other businesses, I service other businesses. So for us, LinkedIn is a perfect platform because we can connect with other business owners. These are just examples, so you'll need to work it through for your scenario. But if you're, say, a cafe owner and you've gone from in-cafe service to a delivery service, then Facebook would be perfect for you, or Instagram, or even Twitter. Twitter's a bit of an interesting one, because I've seen cases where you can almost set up a bot where if someone's in your local area and they have a tweet which might include #coffee or something around that, you can then send them a tweet back saying, hey, like, we're in the area, why don't you come get one from us? So there's things that you can do. So first would be Facebook for sure, to let people know that you're there, to let people know what's going on, and to keep people informed about how they can transact with you in this time. So even though, especially in Victoria, there are many businesses that have closed down, your primary place of communication is going to be social media, because that's where everyone is. However, it's not the end of the game. So when you're then communicating, yes, you can communicate things around how you're being COVID compliant or COVID safe, how people can transact with you, how people can engage with your services, but also how you can make people feel good and inspired during such an uncertain time. Like there's a lot of people out there that are feeling terrible, or are feeling isolated, or are feeling a little bit down and depressed.
I'm wondering what their next steps are, and all of that. There's a lot of people really experiencing terribly hard times.
That's right. So once you've identified who it is that you're servicing and who it is that you want to talk to, start developing some content around some of those things. So what is it that people need right now, and how is it that you can help them, give them what they need? In terms of the types of content that we'd be looking at, my favourite is always video. And this is why I asked the video question before, is like, Judith and I could sit here and write a 5,000 word essay. Now, who's going to read that? Like, I wouldn't read that. I don't have the attention span for that. However,
I think people do.
It's like, and it's not as if we can say, oh, just read it on the bus now, because no one's getting public transport.
Nobody's on the bus.
But you'll watch a video, or you'll listen to a podcast.
Yes.
And so if you're going to have content like this that is deeply of value and really speaks to some of those things, video is the quickest, easiest way to start building trust with people. Because if I can see who it is that I'm going to be dealing with, great. I did a webinar. So for example, I did a webinar last week. I was teaching a bunch of small business owners how to set up their social media strategy, and I kind of had the slides going, but what I also did was I turned my webcam on so that people could see that was me in the corner.
That's right, and it's nice.
It is, isn't it? Like, I've been on so many webinars where you get the slides, but you don't get to see the person.
That's right.
I know. And so that really helped build rapport with the, like, I couldn't see the audience, and it was really weird, because as Judith, as you know, I do quite a bit of speaking, and like it's a different energy from speaking on stage and getting the energy of your audience to then having to do it on a webinar where you're having to produce your own energy and your own momentum. It's a really different place.
That's right. It is. It feels quite weird sometimes, doesn't it? Like you're speaking to nobody. There's nobody answering you back.
Exactly. And that's what video can feel like. So if you're a bit wary of video, it doesn't matter. Like, don't worry about it. But video is so important. So whether you put yourself in there, whether you put your staff in there, whatever it is, like, I'm seeing so many videos out there, like, of people just taking. It's whether it's, here's us making coffees and delivering them, or here's how to wash your hands, or here's how to do this, or here's how to do this. If you can produce how-to videos, that's really going to help.
People love them. It's so helpful in whatever area you're in. People love those. I've just got another question there for you, Paula. And I think video is definitely one of the important things. What about for people starting out, or maybe they've already got an existing business? How many social media platforms do you recommend that people run for their business? And I know that's an open-ended question, but it's always an interesting one to hear somebody like you answer, because you're in the middle of all that space.
It's a really good question. It's such a good question. And my answer is always this: be honest about what your resources are.
Yes, because it's hard to maintain them all if you're on your own.
So even though signing up to social media is free and posting on a Facebook page is free, your time is not. No. So if you can only commit 3 hours a week, that's one platform. Yes. That's it. If you can commit more than that, then yes, you might be able to add additional platforms. But right now, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. You want to devote yourself to where the primary channel of where your audience hangs out. Start there, perfect that, and then bring something else into the mix.
Yes.
Is what I would say. And use that channel well. Don't
You don't do it properly, do you?
exactly, because one of the biggest mistakes
I run my social media.
let me I'm going to let everyone out there on a little secret. Content, even some of the content for my social channels, I don't write them. My team member does. I have someone I do. So you might kind of connect with me on LinkedIn, and you're more than welcome to. I don't produce all of the content because the help needs help sometimes, and that's okay. It's totally okay.
Absolutely. And of course, another thing that you love speaking about, which is fabulous, is repurposing that content. So
Yeah.
across blog posts, across posts for social media, across video, across really everything, isn't it?
100%. So if you are short on time, if you produce one video, if you produce any video, you need to have a YouTube channel, full stop. Like, end of discussion. It is whatever social media you want, plus a YouTube channel. That's what you're going to have. Because even if you do a Facebook Live, so when we talk about repurposing content, what we're talking about is how is it that you can take content from one place and either repost it there or adapt it for another channel so that you're not having to come up with content for every single channel. So if you have an awesome blog site, you should be taking those articles and posting them on your social media channels.
That's right.
And
you can take content from the video, which I do on mine, big tick, and I write a blog post on it and then pop the video down at the bottom. So, and then it goes on YouTube. Then you can put a post on Facebook. And depending on what it is, if you want to put it on your LinkedIn. I don't tweet, but Paula does. I know you can take some great, pieces out of it and make tweets, and it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think in terms of social, they would be my big things. Now I'm conscious that we don't want people spending lots and lots of time necessarily watching this video because we want them to go out there and do stuff. There is one last point that I want to cover off, and that is, if you've watched any of our videos before, you know how much we love an email list. So,
definitely.
To all you out there, if you're scrambling to get online, if you are going, oh my God, social's going to take too long, SEO is going to take too long, blah, 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 blah. Do you have an existing email list? Do you have customers and clients that you can email and let them know you are open for business?
Yes, that's right. Or you've got new services or products or whatever. Keep them up to date with what's happening. Definitely. You've got to build that email list. Your social media, platform closes down tomorrow. You've lost all those fans, likes, people who have been following you for, however many years or months or whatever. But if you've got them off that social media platform and into your email list somehow, then that's absolutely perfect. You can still market to them. So that really is the whole idea, and that's really what you should be aiming for.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can set up something today. When it comes to an email list, if you've got email addresses, go get a MailChimp account, go get a Campaign Monitor account, go and whatever email provider you use. Don't worry too much about that, but just get it done, and you can get it done today.
That's right. That's right. Very, very important. So what are we going to leave everybody with today? Your online presence is very, very important. And if you are not online now with everything being closed down with COVID, it's time to get online. Mm-hmm. It needn't be overwhelming. You just need to find, the right help. Definitely my links are going to be below if you need help with your website, landing pages, you know, a blog, or even if you've got one, but it needs a bit of a revamp, we can spruce it up and make it look beautiful in no time and give you some advice on layout and things like that. And I'm sure Paula's links will be there for any marketing help.
Yep, absolutely. So, so for all of you out there, from us to you, we support you. We want to support you. Please ask us questions. There are no questions that are too silly, because
Not at all.
because we've been
We
probably been
all have to start somewhere. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Exactly.
So, yeah, if you're overwhelmed with it all, and anybody who gets in touch with me, if they need Paula's help, of course, I'll put you straight through to Paula, and, you know, vice versa, because we work together a lot, as you can see from
Yeah,
here.
exactly. So really for us, this video was very much around us wanting to help you get started, because the first question that I get from people is, well, where do I start? Well, you start with this video. You start with the things that are in this video, and then once you're ready, give Judith a buzz, give me a buzz, and we will give you the next steps.
That's right. Help you every step of the way.
Exactly.
But everybody take care, and we hope you're all safe, and that, you know, things aren't getting too bad, and there is definitely going to be, you know, hope at the end of the tunnel, I think, and we'll all get through this. But despite everything, you all need your online presence, and so it's time now. It's time, if you're not, or to spruce it up and get moving.
Yeah, exactly. Take care, and we will catch you very soon.
We'll catch you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, Paula.